Tonight, Windy will be in the building. Windy, who needs this win more?
Definitely the 76ers. And what a night it's going to be tonight in Philly.
Yeah.
Adam Silver's going to be there, and pregame it's a special moment to see and be a part of handing the player the MVP award. They are so invested in Philadelphia with Joel Embiid. It's going to be his moment, and I expect him to shine. I know that he didn't look good in Game 2, but he actually physically moved pretty well, and I think he realizes for the Sixers to win this series, and this is a very, very high stakes, he's got to be great. I know people were excited about Harden. This has got to go through Joel Embiid, and I think it starts tonight.
All right, we'll keep it rolling here. The Bucks fire coach Mike Budenholzer after 5 seasons and 1 championship. The team announced the move after the East top seed lost in the first round of the playoffs. Budenholzer had 2 years left on his deal, worth approximately $16 million, sources telling our Adrian Wojnarowski. Damian Lillard reacting to the news, stating that folks out here firing championship coaches as soon as they don't win the chip. Okay, Wendy, I want to focus on Giannis. What does Giannis' future look like?
So let's say you own the Milwaukee Bucks, okay? Every seat is sold. All your suites are sold. You have Giannis in his prime. You got the best record in the NBA. You own the real estate all around the arena. Restaurants are packed every night. There's a beautiful hotel across the street from the arena that they just built. It's about to open. Everything is going great. And you sell. Why would the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, Mark Lazary, sell? While we were out here in the spring, who's going to win the MVP? What's the seed of the Lakers going to get? Are they going to avoid the play-in? Something very important happened in the NBA. And that was that Mark Lazary, self-made billionaire, took a look around and said, I think I'm going to get out, even though I might be passing up the opportunity to hold the trophy in a couple of months. And that was a very important thing that happened. Why did he do that? Why did Mark Lazary? He got a great price. He got $3.2 billion valuation. He bought the team 10 years ago for $700. That's a tremendous cash out to Jimmy Haslam. But look, NBA teams go up in value. The idea that you sell after a decade and make good money isn't breaking. One of the big reasons he sold was because he saw a storm just happen. They had to fire Mike Budenholzer because they realized how much of a precarious situation that they're in, and Budenholzer had to take the fall after the way they went out in the first round. They have 2 free agents, assuming that Chris Middleton is going to opt out of his contract for next year, which all signs point to. They have 2 free agents in their 30s that they have to deal with, Middleton and Lopez. Now, they are into the luxury tax repeater for the first time. They are going to be paying way more money in taxes starting immediately, to the point where I question whether or not they're going to be able to re-sign Lopez and Middleton just for the sheer fact of what it's going to cost. This is not the Clippers. This is not the Warriors. This is not the Nets. Their ownership doesn't have $70 billion, okay? The second thing is the rules have come into play that really makes it hard for teams like the Bucks to build out their roster. It is not a guarantee that they're going to keep these guys. And then you have Giannis. You have a chicken and egg situation here. In September, he has an option to extend his contract. Now, he has said nothing, but I love Milwaukee and I want to be in Milwaukee. There is no indication he has given that he wants to leave. But if he doesn't extend, it's a major red flag for what's going on with the organization. And he's going to sit there and watch whether they're going to sign Lopez and Middleton, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it. And then now you got to go find a coach. And you'd think this is a great job. You're coming in, replacing a guy who lost in the first round. You have the team that had the best record in the league. Are they going to have the same team? Are they going to lay out hundreds of millions, including in taxes, for Middleton and Lopez? I don't know. Is Giannis going to extend? I don't know. And that uncertainty is what the league is watching right now. The New York Knicks, for example, they got 97% of their attention on the Miami Heat. 3% of their attention on Milwaukee. What's going on over there? What's going on over there? And now, I was in Cleveland with LeBron James. LeBron James was a non-renewable resource for Cleveland. When he walks out the door, he's not coming back. In Milwaukee, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a non-renewable resource. When he leaves, when Kareem left, they didn't go back to the finals for over 40 years. So I would say that the Bucks might do everything they possibly can and exhaust themselves to keep this together. But I don't know what's going to happen. And that uncertainty It's one of the biggest storylines in the NBA.
I appreciate that, Wendy. Touches my heart. You know, as I sat there and I listened to you, I was waiting. I knew that you was going to break it down. I appreciate that. You know, covering the NBA, I knew where you were going. But I was waiting, Wendy. I was waiting for you to bring up my New York Knicks. Because you see, after, not this summer, but as of next summer, big perk, Wendy, the New York Knicks are in a position to trim $60 million off of their cap. They'll have enough money. Now, obviously, Giannis will be locked in, and obviously it would involve a trade. And we all know that the Milwaukee Bucks will still have his rights because I think Giannis got 2 years into the player option, 3 years from now. But I think it's important to point out that the world that we're living in, when the stars want out, they find a way to get out. And so I think about Giannis, and I think about being in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a fabulous city, by the way. But it's interesting that we talk about this because as I look at the Milwaukee franchise, especially how they folded, we're thinking about Budenholzer. Most regular season wins, most postseason wins. 3 years, he had the top record in the league, even though all 3 years they didn't win the championship that year. I still contend they wouldn't have won the championship the 1 year they did if Kevin Durant wore a size 12 instead of size 13. You know, I think they would have won the championship. Brooklyn would have won that series, and I think they would have won it all personally. That's just my personal opinion. But as I look at that landscape and I pay attention to that, the New York Knicks, if you're Giannis, don't you see these commercials now with Giannis? You see Giannis doing little commercials? Then he got to go back to Milwaukee. And instead of playing in Tinseltown or playing in the Big Apple, playing in the Mecca, or playing in a major market or what have you, he got to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Drew Holiday was his teammate, obviously did an exceptional job this regular season, then ran into Jimmy Buckets, and it was a different animal. Chris Middleton hasn't looked the same since his injury. Brook Lopez looked really damn good during the regular season, and then came playoff time, he looked as slow as a snail, even though he had one game where he dropped 36 points. And I don't understand how Budenholzer didn't have it in the game on that game in Milwaukee when Jimmy Bucket sit up there and pushed off and put in that game time basket. My only point in saying all of that is to say this. The New York Knicks, a respectable franchise these days, moving on up.
Say that.
Moving on up. Okay? It is New York. And Kendrick Perkins, before you just shove aside this notion, I ask a rhetorical question and handing it off to you. Would Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant be gone if they had decided to wear a Knicks uniform instead of Brooklyn? Because when you consider the brand that is the Knicks and the money that comes with it, the success, what you're able to benefit from, there's no question that if you're Giannis, you're thinking about that. And if it ain't L.A., it's New York. I don't rule out the possibility of Giannis wanting to come to New York at all. So, Wendy, thank you for that. It made my day. It truly has.
Well, I don't know why. I don't know why, because I 100% disagree with both you and Wendy. Giannis is not going a damn place. And Giannis is built different. And also, Giannis is eye candy. It's two players in the league that I strongly believe that when you look around the league, a lot of players, superstars and stars, would love to go play with these two guys. Number one, Steph Curry. Number two, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I know they got a big, tall task at hand for signing Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton. And if I had to choose between the two, which one I'm going to keep, I'm actually going to keep Brook Lopez. Chris Middleton looks old right now, and I love me some money-making Middleton. But another thing I want to harp on, when I look at guys, especially the European players and the foreign players, they always stay loyal to their organization. When I look at guys like Tim Duncan and Dirk Nowitzki, they was there for the long haul. When I look at guys across the league and I look at guys forcing their way out, it's not the European players that are forcing their way out. And Giannis has shown us that he is there to stick it through. The team that drafted him, they have a new arena. We was there 2 years ago for the finals. They're building up the city downtown, adding more stuff. Now, I know it's not New York, and I get it. It's not L.A., but I don't believe that Giannis is going anywhere. And I
This
think
is simple, that he can sign the extension in September, and we won't talk about it again.
I understand, but we're talking about it now, Wendy. We're talking about it now, okay? And then on top of that, let's not act like the firing of Mike Budenholzer, like Giannis didn't know a damn thing about it. I'm not saying that
to do with it. No question.
Okay, cool. So he's in for the long haul, meaning right now he's going to be there for a hire. And I'm going to throw this out there. If I'm Ty Lue and I'm looking at the Milwaukee Bucks,
I'd want out of the Clippers.
And I'm evaluating my situation with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, I want to get over there with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
I would love to get over there. And if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I would love to have Ty Lue. But I think Giannis will be a Milwaukee.
Is he signing the extension?
I think Giannis Antetokounmpo will be a Milwaukee Bucks for life. And I believe based on this offseason and the moves that they make, the coach that they hire will determine whether or not he signed the extension in September.
You know who wasn't sure about it? The owner of the team. And that's why he sold, because he's not sure.
He's not sure. That is true. That's number one. Number two, I mean, let's not wish certain things on Ty Lue. From a basketball standpoint, I certainly understand what you're talking about, but transitioning from L.A. to Milwaukee, that's a tall ask. I think that we need to take that into consideration. It's a tall ask. Okay, when you talk about Giannis himself, Perk, you got your title. You delivered the championship to the city of Milwaukee. You know you don't have any free agents that's going to be clamoring to come there.
Why
not?
You
got to take all of the... What do you mean, why not?
Why not? Why not? If it's about basketball, then why wouldn't you want to go play with Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Well, first of all, there's an abundance of examples throughout history where you got people. It's not about the basketball player. Sometimes it's about that market. You know that. I know that. Stop acting like you don't know that. Everybody ain't going to be clamoring to come to Milwaukee. No disrespect to the city of Milwaukee. But everybody ain't going to be clamoring to come to Milwaukee. Giannis has had to take all of that into consideration as he looks at his future. He may not be looking to leave tomorrow, next season, or anything like that. But you're talking about after next season or within the next 2 years, I wouldn't rule that out.
Well, what's the difference between Milwaukee and Cleveland? Donovan Mitchell He didn't have no complaints about going to Cleveland.
He got traded.
He could have stopped the trade. He got the power to do that.
He would have preferred. He would have. With Danny Ainge, did you just say that with a straight face? With Danny Ainge, please. Not with Danny Ainge. You know better. That ain't going to work with Danny Ainge. Donovan Mitchell wanted to be in New York. He was traded to Cleveland, so he had to accept that. But he wanted to be in New York. We all know that.
All right. Got to leave it there, fellas. Coming up, CP3 is out tonight. And